So guys, what is the hardest part about being a non-conformist? The hardest part is the abuse you get from other people. Really, that's it. Um, like I got a job for Tesco in Baggot Street. Uh, it was near like Dublin City Centre, not that far from where I live, maybe 7 miles, I think, something like that. And I quit after 4 days, so I felt like it just wasn't for me. Um, and you know, my my mother hired a professional painter to come in and paint the house, which I think was stupid, making the wall a different color, honestly. And one of the guys painting the house was an old friend of ours, and you know, this guy, he used to really like me. We used to get on, but everything seemed to change. Like after he heard from what I did, he seemed to, have no respect for me. He just kind of ignored me. He didn't really like me. He was giving me the boring ass lectures, like, "Oh geez, sure, when I was your age I got a job, it was boring, but I needed the money." And I was like, "Oh Jesus, great, good for you. You're painting a house, you're making the wall in my house a different colour. Big fucking deal. Your life is not that exciting." Alright? Now my life wasn't that exciting either. Now I wasn't happy being unemployed, but I wasn't happy with that decision. I felt like I wanted to do more with my life. But I feel like some people just go over the top. I mean, they absolutely hate people who aren't part of the system. You know, and yeah, you paint. You're a slave to the system yourself. I'm not. What's so bad about that? And I just think it's ridiculous. And I have gotten another job. I actually work for Tesco now again. I work for Tesco in Pearse Street, and because the thing, I worked there because I wanted to work there, because I wanted to, so my career goals, not because of the fear of judgment or whatever. And that's the thing. I got the job. I worked there like 3 weeks now, and they're cutting my hours though. So I don't know. I might have to look for another job if they keep cutting my hours. Because next week I'm on like 20 hours when I'm meant to be full time, and it's not my long-term career goal. But I want to move away from this area. Yeah, I live in Carrickmines because it's quite snobby people. It makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable being around these people. They're so snobby. I'd like to move somewhere a bit more down to earth. Can I get that? Hopefully, somewhere maybe closer to work. But that might mean living in the city centre. Geez, that'll be a bit crowded, alright. Certainly have loads of people around me. Like I'd walk out the front door and there'd be, whoa, people everywhere. But Jesus, whoa. It's very different to where I'm living now. And yeah, so I became a slave to the system. And working. What other options are there? You could work for yourself. It's easier now than it ever was before, to be honest. Companies like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat, like, you still sort of working for a company. You're not completely on your own. You have like a system set up for you, but you're your own boss. You choose your own hours, and I think more people should look into that. To be honest, or setting up your own business. The thing is, set up your own business. You might have to work a lot of hours to do that. To be self-employed like Foodora, there's not Foodora's in Canada, not here, not in Ireland. But to work with them, you wouldn't have to work like a full-time day. Like if you really minimize your costs. I mean, just think about it. How, like, you get a place to rent in Dublin for like €70 a week. Like food, how much you spend on food? If you try to minimize the cost without sacrificing your health, I'd say most people probably spend about 50 a week. I'd probably spend maybe 60 to 70. I eat a bit more than normal, to be honest. And on the plant-based vegan lifestyle. And the thing about that is, it doesn't cost a lot of money. So think about that. Say you spend €70 a week on food, €70 a week on rent. That's €140 a week. All right. So when you're working like Deliveroo, I noticed that you make about an average of $5.50 per delivery, and most Deliveroo riders make a delivery every like 35 minutes, busy hour. So you'd be making like over €10 an hour. So if you work 20 hours a week, you keep €200. Because the thing is, you need to be making over 13 grand a year in Ireland. That's euro, to pay tax. If you're making about €200 a week all year, 50 weeks a year, even 50, that'd be like what, 10,000 euro a year. So you don't have to pay tax. So yeah, your average week you only spend money on food, accommodation. You're talking 120, 140 euro. Okay, maybe you might have to spend a little bit more money than that, depending on your lifestyle. Like, I'm a distance runner, I need runners, bikes, stuff like that. Hopefully I don't have to buy them too often. But yeah, that's pretty nice. Like, if you're working like 20 hours a week, like, if you do that over 5 days, that's 4 hours a day. You got the weekends off. If you do that over 7 days, spread out, you're doing less than 3 hours. Like, do you know what I mean? You have a lot of free time to yourself then, to be honest. And that's what I think. That's what I believe in. Cause like, when I'm working with Tesco, they have me doing like these shifts from like 2 to 11 o'clock at night. That's 9 hours with an hour break in between, generally around like 5, 6 o'clock. And it's just so time consuming. I feel like on top of my training, food prep, work, there's not much time for anything else. I feel like 6 hours. If you're doing, say, 6 hours, you have time to do other things. And you have to remember, it takes me like 45 minutes to cycle from my house into Pearse Street, 'cause I'm way out in the suburbs. I'm like quite a distance from town, as we call it. So, that's 6 hours working plus an hour and a half getting to and from work. 7.5 hours out of my day, on top of training and stuff. And I feel like I felt that day when I did that 6 hour shift. I think that was, what day? I think that on Monday. I think I felt like I had too much time on my hands. I felt unmotivated. I was like, well, if I had something else to do, it'd be fine. But I'm just sitting here scrolling through the internet for a couple hours. Not the most productive. So yeah, personally, I think human beings work too much. I think 6 hour work days should be the max, to be honest. Like 9, I think that's too much, to be honest. Really is. So don't be a slave to the system. I just remember, years ago, people had to work long hours just to pay for the basics, the necessities. Nowadays, people work long hours so they can have disposable income, buy little crap they don't need, buy expensive cars. But you don't have to do it like that. You can do it a different way. Spend less, have more time to do other things. Time is more valuable than money, trust me.